Are you using pots and pans like these on a daily basis? If so, you may be actually exposing yourself to chemicals called PFASs. Hello, my name is Micah Baga. Today I'm going to be talking about PFASs. I'm currently on a pre-med biomedical course at a university. And today I'm going to be talking about what PFASs are, the uses that they have in our modern economy, and I'm going to be talking about the effects that they have on both our environment and us. And from there, I'm going to expand upon why I believe that PFASs should be more heavily regulated. So, what are PFASs? To put it very simply, PFASs are poly or perfluoroalkyl substances. They cover a vast range of chemicals. There are thousands of them with thousands of different uses. Now, to sum up some of the most common uses that you as a consumer might know, there are the uses that they have in water resistance. So for example, if you have ever used something like Scotchgard to make your clothing, your furniture water resistant, then you have actually used a chemical with PFASs. If you have used something that is heat resistant, such as Teflon, which is not actually PFAS, but if you have used something like pots or pans that use heat resistant substances to keep them from being water and grease resistant, then you are actually using PFAS. What I said lists the three uses, which are water resistance, heat resistance, and grease resistance, as the biggest generalization of what these chemicals are. So now we get into the nitty-gritty, the interesting stuff. So there's actually a lot of effects that are barely known. So according to studies such as this one, PFASs have some detrimental effects on humans. They have been proven to, well, not proven, but they have been shown and suggested to cause organ damage and thyroid problems in humans. Similarly, the CDC lists all of the possible negative effects because they have to err on the side of caution. So the CDC has that page, like this one that I have showed, that actually lists all the potential risks that you could be getting from these chemicals. Granted, these are not scientifically proven 100% or even 90%. However, these chemicals have not even been tested long enough to know anything about them. That is, put a pin in that, because that is actually one of the biggest red flags about these chemicals. So they have been proven in animals to cause liver, thyroid, and other organ damage, as well as cardiovascular damage. But in humans, we have no way to ethically test these. The effects that they might be having are very similar to other diseases out there. Heart disease, metabolic diseases, possibly autoimmune diseases as well. We just don't know because we have no way of separating them out from the other diseases that could be occurring in the population. So those are some of the difficulties in finding out what the effects are. Currently, there is no definitive statement. However, this is for good reason. And as science progresses, we may find more and more evidence to want to regulate these. Now, you may be thinking, well, what's the big deal? If I'm not getting exposed to these chemicals that much, why would I be worried? Well, this is where it gets interesting. So PFASs have been proven in studies and research like this to actually last for 3 to 5 years in the human body and almost an indefinite amount of time in our environments. This is a huge red flag, and it is the biggest reason why PFASs are a big topic right now. They've been proven to be in bodies of water, like in this graph here, which you can find at a .gov website that I'll link down below, that show places that have tested positive for PFAS chemicals. This is extremely concerning because it means that not only could you be getting exposed through direct contact, like your Scotchgard, like your clothing, like any other chemical or product that you use that has these chemicals, you may be getting exposed in ways that you don't even know. for example, through fish. To sum it up, these are the reasons why I believe they should be more heavily regulated. I have been arguing a lot for the regulation of these chemicals, and I have been giving you a lot of evidence, but there is a valid argument for not regulating these chemicals so heavily. So currently, so that you know what the current situation on PFASs is, according to articles like this, the EPA is working hard to actually get regulations pushed out. And the Biden administration is actually on board for this. And they are actually trying to push to get these chemicals more heavily regulated, to try and extract them from our water systems and extract them from our environment. This is key. However, the argument against this movement is also valid. And the argument is very simple. What are we going to do if we eliminate all these chemicals from use? We will lose so many products. We will lose Scotchgard. We'll lose a bunch of different type of non-stick cookware. We will lose a lot of different types of clothing. We will lose a lot of different protective substances. Even things like your paper cups might have to be redesigned. And this is extremely tasking on the producer. And this is a fair point. The producers would have to completely reroute and redesign how they make products, and not just one producer from one sector of the economy, but thousands of producers across the globe would have to find different chemicals, different products, different ways to manufacture their products. Now, many people can understand why that is a valid argument. However, at the end of the day, these companies should not be worried just about whether or not they can produce a product or not. They should be worrying at the end of the day whether the customer that buys the product is safe and whether or not the product that they are producing is creating a safe environment. These are the reasons against. Now, the reasons for are exactly what I said about the consumer. We should be doing this for the consumer, not for the businesses or the companies. We should be trying to get these companies to regulate their use so that we can minimize any potential risks. But it's better to err on the side of caution and then find out you were wrong about PFASs and that they were safe, than to err on the side of negligence and say, hey, probably not going to cause any harm, let's just use them, and then find out later that they do cause harm and that they are causing cancer or whatever information that we get in the future tells us they cause. So in short, if you were to take any points away from this, I would say we talked about what PFASs are, which are polyfluoroalkyl substances, a diverse group of chemicals that we use on day-to-day basis. Their uses are these big three ones that you need to remember because they are the most common ones. That is water resistance, grease resistance, and heat resistance. Finally, the effects that they have are not very well known. I must state that now. They're not very definitive, and they're changing day to day. Because there are thousands of them, and because we have not had a lot of time to actually research every single one. So, those are the uses. Now, the argument against regulating these chemicals was that it would make a huge problem for all producers around the world to try and figure out how to make their products in a different manner. However, the reasoning for regulation actually states that we should not be worrying about the producers as much as the consumers when it comes to risks on their health and risks on their environment. I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and actually learned something. I will link all of the resources that I put on the screen down below. And if you would like to know more, you can comment. I will try and get my information to you. And I will try and give you more information, possibly chat with you. I just want to thank you all and have a great day.